How challenging is it when, especially like in an environment like last week, where you guys are checking a lot at the line and needing to communicate those shifts? How challenging is that just for any group?
It's difficult, but we had a good game plan and we executed it well, and we knew what the checks were, and there was never any gray area as to how we were going to do something. So we knew if we got a certain look, we were going to check to a certain play, and it was going to be blocked a certain way. So, and I give the coaches a lot of credit. I wouldn't say they simplified things, but they definitely made it more clear as to like how we wanted to get things done. We had the Dallas game, things weren't great in the run game for that, so then it's like, all right, like let's figure some stuff out and kind of go back to what we're good at.
Greg, I should know this number, so I apologize, but I assume you had played individually in Seattle before, right?
Yeah.
I mean, is that a badge of honor for an offensive line to go through and not have a pre-snap penalty in that environment, the way that game was going?
Yeah, I think any environment, it's a badge of honor, but specifically there where it's very challenging to communicate at all because it is so loud. I think them and Arrowhead go back and forth as to the loudest stadiums. For just like an afternoon kickoff there, it wasn't even prime time. It was like if we were backed up or in the red zone, there were times where you couldn't even really hear the quarterback when he was under center, and I'm right next to him. So it's definitely a stressor, and definitely happy that we didn't have any pre-snap issues or penalties, because those are the things that really hurt you as an offense, is like just going backwards because you didn't hear the snap count or you jumped or something like that.
What does it say about the line itself that you guys didn't have that in that environment and you guys were able to function?
I think it's just the way we practice. We have noise at practice, so we get used to that, and it's just making sure guys are focused and locked in and being at your best, like when your best is needed.
I think the broadcast had, sorry, just to hit on this. The broadcast I mentioned, Dable was kind of up in players' faces. I believe in receivers. Was he kind of up in your face, or was Carr?
Yeah, he's an emotional guy. He was up in everyone's.
Not in a bad way, but as a noise practice.
Yeah. Dave's is fired up, and especially after that first drive, we drove I think 95 yards, whatever it was, and to come away like empty-handed was frustrating, and to come away with them scoring a touchdown was even worse. So it's just like, for whatever reason on the road, we like to start as deep in a hole as we can, but we've been able to dig ourselves out, and just like to avoid that going forward. The game's hard enough; we don't need to make it any harder.
Sorry, I meant in practice, like the week prior to practice, noise level is what I was getting at.
Yeah, no, like we have speakers on the sidelines that just blast like music or crowd noise or something, so like you get like a pretty much a live rep of like how hard it's going to be to hear the play call in the huddle and what the check is. So it's annoying, but it's good to practice it because you're ready on Sunday when you're in that environment.
Does it charge you guys up when Daniel, your quarterback, is lowering his shoulder into defenders when he's running?
Hopefully he'll start sliding. I think it charges him up, honestly. So, we just want him to be safe, and we need him back there.
When the quarterback's doing that, like, I guess, how do you respond as a lineman and just kind of like the energy that he gives you guys?
Yeah, you're just trying to make sure that you're around the ball, and you're there to pick them up and just make sure there's nothing dirty or extra, that's happening around the pile. So definitely, you try hard every play, but specifically when your quarterback's, taking shots, you want to make sure that you're around the ball.
Again, with the growth of this unit, I know you talked about earlier, but the idea that if you think back to, it seems like 7-8 months ago, but it really wasn't that long ago, where you just got here, you guys weren't playing as a five together. Can you put in perspective how far you guys have actually come to play the way you're actually playing the last 2 weeks?
Yeah, I mean, we came a long way. I signed, late in training camp, or I don't even know, early in training camp, whatever it was. John Michael was out for a little bit. Runyon was out for a little bit. So we didn't really get like the five together until that kind of week of game prep. So we've been lucky to stay healthy, and that hopefully will continue. And you can't state or overstate the importance of like continuity and time on task and getting comfortable with the guy next to you. So like Jermaine and I kind of had that last year, so we're getting to build on that. And now with John Michael, like we're working on some stuff. Like the first couple of games, we had a few things that we were getting used to in each other, like maybe how I set or how he saw something. So it's just been, we're able to work through that and now kind of like get better every week and work on, the fundamentals rather than communication or technique or something like that.
What is Carmen's impact on your guys' adjustments to create a better running game and just your growth as a unit?
Carm does a good job of, like, I've said this multiple times talking about him, just like making sure everything makes sense. So like we don't have like a formation where we only run one play out of. And it's like, maybe we're going to run duo, but we're going to dress it up 7 different ways. So it's like if you're a defense, you're like, all right, like usually they do this, but now there's a motion, now there's a shift, or like they're all in 2-point stances or something like that. So it's just like, you don't want to do too much, but you need to have multiple kind of tools in the bag. So Carm does a good job making sure that we use our different tools.
What's been your take on James Ferentz as a coach? I mean, first year comes right off the field. What has he brought to the room with you guys?
I'm happy James in the room. It's always good to have guys that have played the game in the offensive line room, specifically when it comes to like coaching, because he knows maybe how things look or how guys might see things, and he can kind of be a voice in the coaches' meetings when maybe they're designing packages or plays or whatever. So he's like an extension of us basically, and that's incredibly valuable for us as players, and I think especially the coaches too, to have that kind of input from a guy who played for a long time at a position that's very difficult in the NFL.
Is it a challenge as an offense? Like last week, Malik had been your primary weapon on offense. Is it a challenge as an offense to go into a game kind of reconfiguring how it's all going to look without that player? And then what does it say that you guys did what you did without him?
Yeah, I mean, I think Malik is a great player. I think we saw that early, and we were definitely going to miss him. But this is the NFL, and it's cliche, but like it's, next man up, and everyone's got a role. And I was happy that, Slay had the game that he had. That was good for us, that like he could step up like that. And then Tracy had a great game, and for Motor. So it's just like we have good football players, and now we're not worried when someone goes down because we know the depth we have, and that's incredibly valuable as the season goes on, because 17 games is a brutal sport. Like guys are going to miss games, and we know that we have talent waiting in the wings.
Did they come to you Wednesday and say you were getting a vet day, or did you go to them?
It was a joint effort. It was just one of those things where 34 years old, played a lot of football, and if we were going to be in full pads, I was going to need a few reps off. So it was a collaborative kind of issue.
So you didn't fight?
No, I was willing to accept. Yeah.
Greg, are you happy for the Mets? You're a big Mets
very
fan?
happy for the Mets. Was trying to get over to a game, but we got practice and stuff, so it didn't work out. But definitely excited to watch postseason baseball for my team. Wish them luck going forward, and hopefully keep that thing rolling.
Subway Series?
I don't know. We got to get there first.
Okay.
You're gonna try to get to an NLCS game?
We'll see if our schedule works out. Yeah.
Did you consider yourself one of those negative Met fans that Steve Cohen said he wanted to change the line?
No, I wasn't a negative Met fan. I actually went to a game around Memorial Day, which is kind of a little bit before their kind of streak turned around. But I think since then, they have like the best record in baseball. So not to say it was me, then Grimace. Grimace came in after that. Yeah.
Where's the pumpkin?
Yeah, no songs for me. But yeah, no, it's definitely cool. It's been fun to watch.